So, hello guys, welcome us. I don't know what the time zone is, but good day, everyone. Today we'll be talking about introduction to product management, and here on the call I have Blessing. Blessing is a product manager based in Accra, Ghana, and she can do more introduction about herself. Blessing, it's a pleasure having you on this call. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you, Amaka. I'm really happy to be here and to just share my experience with the entire team. Yes, so my name is Blessing. Um, I know some of you who are Nigerians. I don't know like the different zones that we are that the students are joining from, or the people on the school are joining from. But yes, I'm Nigerian. I know some of you would be asking, is she Nigerian based on the surname? Yes, I'm Nigerian, but I'm based in Accra, Ghana. I've been here for the past 13 years. And I have over 6 years professional experience spanning
Wow.
through operations, sales, support, and products. I'm a trained project manager and product manager at the same time. I did my MSc in project management, my first MSc in project management, and because I have a tech background, I've been working in tech, and it's just natural in a transition to product. All right. So today is gonna be a great day. I just want you guys to ask me as many questions as possible. Let's have a very fun and interactive session. I'm really hoping to also learn a thing or two from the entire team. So I'm really excited about today. So the outline of what we're going to be talking about today, we're just going to be going through the just a brief about product management. That's the introduction to product management, and we're going to be talking about the core of what makes product management. Right, we're going to be talking about the product, who the product manager is, the types of product managers, the product management as a discipline, and project management, the differences between the product manager and the project manager. These are the 6 items we're going to be discussing today. So before we dive right in, I just want to ask a question. What is a product? You can put in your answers in the chats. I see a chat window. So I'll just give you 30 seconds to just put in your. Yes, I think so. I think this training is just starting. I think this is the very beginning of the product management course or training. So that's why we are talking about the introduction. I think someone liked was asking if this the training is just starting today. So I'm just going to give us 30 seconds. I want to see your responses on the chat box. So what is a product? Great. And yes, this is a task actually. So just give one example of a product you have used in the last 24 hours and tell me why it is a product and what need it has met for you. Amaka, sorry if you're on the call. I just want to get a sense of how many people are in this room.
I'm here. So we have about 10 people, but we can't account for those who will be viewing on LinkedIn. They're not yet
Okay,
showing here. They don't get to show here.
right. Great. So I
But
see
more
some
people
very
will
good.
join in. We're expecting at least 30.
Okay, okay. That's all right. And so I see a product is a good or service that satisfies customer satisfaction. The goods or services, anything that can be used to achieve a goal, like a car that takes you from one place to another. Product is anything that's produced with a purpose. A product is displayed a goal, or I'm sure this was a product is used to display a goal. Right? So and I think a lot of people are just touching on some of the very key things that a product is. So a product is a good, service, or system that is made available for consumption by an organization or an entity for the satisfaction of a particular group of people or users. You see that I've highlighted some words or some words in this definition of what a product is, right? It can be a good, it can be a service or a system. A good could be something like, let's say, my microphone, right? This could be this is a product, right? It's serving a purpose, and a service could be a consultancy service. With, let's say, I consult with an agency to help me on file for taxes, and a system could be an example of a system could be let's say an insurance system, or insurance could be a service. Maybe I'm using a process. I'm trying to get a very good example of a system that is not necessarily a service, right? So as we go along, and if I think of one, I'm going to tell you about it. And those things are made available for consumption by an organization. So it's usually an organization or a person or a group of people or an entity that usually come up with this good or services, and they come up with it so that it can satisfy a need that a particular group of people that they have seen or done a research on that have that need. So they are always targeting a group of people. And one thing I want you to also understand or realize is that most products do not target everybody. Products usually have their target market. Sometimes it can span beyond the scope of users they have initially planned for, but there is usually a group of people or users in mind when a product is being developed. So that is what a product is. And now moving on to who a product manager is. Who do you think a product manager is? I've just gone to LinkedIn and other organizations that we are all familiar with to just scope out the responsibilities that they are looking for in a product manager. Then we can discuss it in relation to who a product manager is. So if you look at this job description or this responsibility on my screen right now, talking about like what they are looking for in a product manager, there are certain things that stand out, right? I just want you to take 30 seconds to just look at it. And in the next screen, you're going to see another job ad for a product manager, and you're also going to see certain things that will stand out as well. And I want you to take note of those things because I'm going to ask you questions about those things that stand out, that stood out for you. Right, so we're going to go to the next one. So this is a meta. Oh, I hope you can see this screen. I'm so sorry. I really do. Great. So those of us that can see my screen, please. Oh, I'm so sorry my screen is not clear right now. But there are certain things that stand out between these two job description responsibilities for a product manager. Meta is a global company. We all know Meta. Sandbox is quite a small company based in Europe. But you can see the similarities between. Oh, when I zoom in a bit, can you see?
So hi guys, I think she got disconnected. She should be back. Now for the screen, I know it's quite blurred. So while you particular stream in full screen mode, possibly portrait mode, and also increase your video quality. Okay, she's back now.
Right. Sorry guys, can you see me?
Hello, Blessing. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Sorry about that. I just got disconnected by just clicking on a button. I'm not so used to this streaming platform.
Oh, okay, no problem. That's fine. Okay,
All
so
right.
you're back now.
Great. So we can just take it up quickly, right? There are a couple of things that are very particular to a product manager that every single organization look out for. You see, product managers, whatever it is, there are certain qualities or skills that a product manager should have. Some have been categorized into soft skill and hard skill. And later on in the presentation, we are going to see the differences between these soft skills and the hard skill that a product manager should possess, right? So now, who is a product manager? This is actually my definition because like this is what I think a product manager is, or who I think a product manager is. A product manager is the person whose primary job is to identify customer needs and the larger business objective that a product or feature will fulfill, and manage the development and delivery of that product or feature by ensuring it is valuable, usable, and feasible, right? Let's break down this definition into smaller bits, and let's take it. When we say that the primary job of a product manager is to identify customer needs, the basic work of a product manager is to build products or features that will satisfy a need. And if you don't know the need you're trying to satisfy, then what are you building? That is why they need to know their customers and get to understand the need that is lacking, or the need that the customers that they want to serve have, so that they can build a product that meets that specific need. That's why we have a lot of products out there that people just build because they want to build for like just personal gratification. And yes, I've built a product, I have something in the Play Store, I have something working there, without actually looking into the depths of the customers if what they have built is actually solving a need. And the reason why I say that they also have to identify the business objective is that if you're working in an organization and the objective of that organization is to go south, and because the users you are, let's say, interacting with, they want you to go east, you have to be able to marry these two bridge, like you have to be able to marry these two individual differences and come and bridge it and come to a place where both the business objectives are met and not compromised, and also the users needs are also met. So it is very important for a product manager to identify these two key items, so that like the product they are building is meeting the customer needs and the business objectives are also being met, right? And aside just identifying key these two key items, they manage the development and delivery of that product, right? So they manage the development team, the other stakeholders. What do they need to ensure that this product is fully built and is getting out to the market to the right people at the right time, while ensuring that what they've built is valuable, that is, it meets the needs of the customers, it meets the business objective, it is usable. You don't want to build a product that nobody can use. Come on, like it's just gonna waste companies' resources, waste engineers' time, waste like valuable time of designers and other stakeholders. And you also have to ensure that whatever you build is feasible, right? You have to have done your own feasibility studies and like whilst gathering your requirements, right? So this is the primary work of a product manager and who a product manager is. In addition to this, I also say that they are responsible for articulating what success looks like for their product, right? They should be able to set a metric to say that once we hit this metric, There's something that business people in products right now they call the North Star metric, right? So if you set a North Star metric, that is the very one thing you want to say that if we are able to meet this or if we are doing this, then our product is successful. So the product manager is responsible for ensuring that he articulates what success looks like to everybody. So he's directing everybody towards that one goal that his or her product seeks to achieve, right? So this is who a product manager is. I would I know some people would have questions, so if you have questions, kindly put them in the chat. I'm going to take them as we go as we go along. And aside what I've just said, there are various or responsibilities or some responsibilities that the product manager is responsible for in his, let's say, day-to-day activities or in the quarter or in the year. And the first on this list is market research. You can't build anything without doing proper market research, because then what are you building, for which markets, for which users? You have to carry out the proper market research, and this is the responsibility the of the product manager. All right, there are certain times that product managers go out there with like their UX designers and some other stakeholders to carry out market research. However, the product manager should be leading market research. They are also responsible for defining product strategy, right? And excuse me, I want to talk about product strategy is like creating a clear vision and strategy for the product, outlining its goals, the target audience, and how it fits into the company overall and product portfolio. When we talk about requirement gathering, we're talking about collaborating with stakeholders, including like customers, engineers, your designers, and marketers, so that you can define and prioritize like features and functionalities, right? For product development, it's like just product managers, they need to be able to guide the development process by like always interacting with their developers, like guiding the making sure that the product is being built according to the defined requirements and staying on track with the timeline. Else you would have, if you are not being on top of your game when it comes to product development, like I remember my boss used to tell me, if a developer gives you 2 days, multiply it by 2.5 so that you can get your actual timeline, right? But the product manager needs to be on top of the product development, guiding the whole process, making sure that the specified requirements, because you can say that let's build a pen that has a black cap, and maybe one of your engineers or your sees that your front end says, okay, I think if I add gold, it will be great. What if I add something to it? So you have to ensure that once the product is being developed, it is to the defined requirements. And also, they are responsible for cross-functional collaboration. That is, working closely with various teams such as engineering, design, marketing, sales, customer support, to ensure that like there is effective communication and coordination throughout like the product development, not just the product development, throughout the whole life cycle of the product, right? One thing again that the product manager is responsible for is prioritization, deciding which feature and improvement should be built first based on factors like how valuable is it to the customers? What's the market trend? What's the impact? What's the business goal? Again, business objectives, right? So, and else you will be forced to just build anything, because every customer's request is important. Every customer knows what they want, quote unquote, right? So everybody wants, or every stakeholder, even internally, wants you to build something for their customer. Still want you to build something for this client is working on. The other salesperson wants you to, oh, please build this for my customer. So you have to be able to prioritize and decide which feature or which improvement you would have to build first, right? And also, the product managers are responsible for creating their roadmaps, like developing a product roadmap that's outline like the planned features, the improvements you want to do, the updates that you want to carry out over time. So the product manager is responsible for that. Some people create their roadmap for like 3 years, 5 years. Some do it quarterly. Some use another road mapping framework by doing the short term, the medium term, and the long term. Depending on what works for you and your organization, you create your roadmap. And also user experience. Like my manager always shouts, "Blessing, test the product. Is it working? What's the experience like? What is it? What's the behavior today?" Right? You have to ensure that the product is intuitive, it is user friendly, it addresses the actual need that the users are facing, or that that the users have. Like it's addressing it to the very point, right? You don't want to build something that is doing so many things but it's not meeting the very pain point, right? You want the experience for your users to be seamless and to be smooth, right? And also defining your metrics and analysis, define what the KPIs for a particular feature, what will you be measured on. Where I'm coming from, we used to use the NCT framework, which is the narrative, the commitment, and the task, where we break it down. We know what we are working towards. So you just craft all of these. You are responsible for these as a product manager. And also, you have to decide and plan the release and the launch of the new product. Like you have to work together. If you have a product marketing team, you have to work together with the product marketing team to come up with great copies, work together with your support team, with the sales team, people who are getting out there. So you have to be on top of it, coordinating all of these. And also, the last responsibility I have on my list is the iterative improvement. And what this means is that, unlike a product is iterative, right? There's this product group and community I'm part of, and the tagline is iterate until awesome, right? You never ever get to the end of like a product, right? Because the product keeps evolving, user needs keep evolving. So you have to continuously gather feedback, you have to continuously speak to stakeholders to refine it, to see what is working, what is not working, what has faded up, what you should change. So these are just the responsibilities of the product manager, right? And the key skills of a product manager, as I was saying, we have both the soft skill and the hard skill for the. Amaka, you can change the slide. Okay, I think I can go right. So for the soft skill, you have to be an effective communicator, right? You should you should be communicating. You should be communicating with stakeholders. In fact, there's never anything like overly communicating. I remember my when I just took up the product management role, my manager was always telling me, "Blessing, over communicate. Like, don't think you are doing it too much, over communicate, right? You have to be an effective communicator, because there is the only way you can dispel assumptions, you can dispel doubts, and you can actually get to know what is happening in the mind of your stakeholders and in the mind of your users, right? Another key soft skill that a product manager should possess or should have is time management skill. You don't want to spend all the time, especially let's say you have just a quarter or a month to roll out a particular feature, or you've committed to rolling out a feature at a particular time. You should be able to manage the time with your engineers, your designers, and other stakeholders. If you are running into blockers, you should be able to escalate it so that those blockers are removed and you can get the ball rolling, right? Or if there anything you have to postpone, you do it right on time before the time you're actually supposed to deliver that particular deliverable, right? It's another skill is stakeholder management. Being able, like I think this comes in handy when you are managing cross-functional communication with other stakeholders. So you have to be able to manage your stakeholders, both internal stakeholders, external stakeholders, stakeholders at the top, stakeholders at the bottom, like linear stakeholders. You have to be able to manage people, uh, right? Just say people management, right? And also the ability to influence. You need this so well as a product manager because you have to literally convince people why what you want to build is important for them to spend their time doing it, especially if, let's say, you share resources with other teams. You have to prove to, let's say, a designer why he should prioritize your work against another team's work. So you should be able to influence people. It's one great skill to have, right? And also multitasking, you'll be caught between doing so many things at different times. It's very important to be able to multitask. And it's just important to put this out there. Not saying if you don't have all of these checked, you can't be a product manager. You definitely can. Some of these skills are built on the job and as you go along, right? And another one is being agile, right? Ability to just like move quickly. You have to be agile. It's not even, it's a no-brainer. You have to be an agile person to be successful as a product manager. And also people leadership, right? As a product manager, you're not really managing anybody. However, you are also managing people. And it's quite tricky because like nobody reports to you in terms of, especially let's say if you're an independent contributor or individual contributor, you're not really managing a person. You're rather trying to lead people to do the right thing or to build the right product. Right. So that is where your leadership skill has to come. And I think this goes hand in hand with also the ability to influence. And the last one I have here is innovative thinking. And you have to be able to think about like how things can change. Like you have to be ahead of your customers, thinking ahead of them, like how is this product going to evolve, sending them like surveys to just find out like you like this. If you don't have this from the start, it is something you can build as you go along. So there is no cause for alarm, there is no cause to have any fear to say, oh, I don't have this, so I can't be a product manager. Product managers are not birthed from the womb, right? We all learn this skill and become successful in our careers as product managers. All right, some of the hard skills that you should possess or you should be able to do is user research. Again, these skills can be learned. They are not they are not they are not things you need to have, let's say, 100% of. As long as you are willing to learn and you are quick to learn, you should be good, right? User research, carrying out user research, doing product analysis, crafting or designing product roadmap, prioritization. There are different frameworks for prioritization. I'm sure when you go deep down into the life of a product day in the life of a product manager, all of these things will be broken down. You also have to be able to think strategically for the product, so product strategy, design thinking, and because of what's the last one? And product thinking. Product thinking is actually very important, right? Product thinking is is actually how will I craft product thinking? I would say that product thinking is the ability to understand what makes a product great. Yes, I think that's what product thinking is. So you should be able to like have that like skill. Think about like and understand why is this product great. If you see a product, you're able to tell that this product is great. You should be able to like say that as a product manager. Is it usable? Is it like is it functional? Does it meet the basic need? So that's what product thinking is about, right? So these are the some of the hard skills. Like this list is not exhaustive, right? So you can definitely do a bit more research on your own on some of the hard skills that a product manager should possess. But these are just what I wanted to share with you today. Now, based on everything we've said about a product manager, their responsibilities, the skill, we can sum it up to say that a product manager is a leader, is a driver, a communicator, a problem solver, and an advocate. Why are they a leader? Because they are leading the development of a product. And the product could even be maybe the top liners of what makes a company or an organization, right? They are driving and they have to lead people because designers or engineers, they might not know what your users are saying. They might not be there when you're talking to your users, but you have to be able to lead them to the right direction by gathering these requirements and ensuring that the development is going by the defined requirements. We spoke about that when we're looking at the various responsibilities of a product manager, right? A product manager as a driver, what this means is that they are able to drive communication, they are able to drive users, they are able to drive stakeholders, they are able to steer the conversation and what is needed to make a product successful, right? They are communicators. If you find a product manager that does not communicate, there's trouble, right? They communicate with both external people, internal people, support, designers, engineers, management. They are always communicating and they are problem solvers. You see, when there is a problem with the product, nobody is going to go look for any engineer to ask them, why is this product buggy? Or why is this product not working? No one is going to do that. Everybody is going to look for the product manager. Hey, I'm encountering this problem with this product because the product is your baby, right? So they are problem solvers and also they are advocates. And this can be two ways. Product managers can be advocates for their users, which is like the primary advocates they are. We're always advocating for our users because the reason why we are building what we are building are for our users, whether they are internal users or external users, we are always advocating for our users. And also, at some point you also have to advocate for the business because you don't want to just keep working in silo, right? You want to build a product that meets the customer needs. Again, we're going back to that point and the business objective. So that is why we say that these five key points define a product manager. They are leaders, they are drivers, they are communicators, they are problem solvers, and they are advocates. And yes, there are different types of product managers. And AHA summed it up very beautifully that I didn't even have anything to say. I just picked what it said about like the different types of product managers. And they said that there are many different types of product management roles. Every organization define the position a bit differently based on offerings, customers, and product strategy. Generally speaking, the larger the company and its portfolio, the more product leaders it may require, which is very true. And PM roles can vary like in their scope and responsibilities based on the organization and the industry, right? Some product managers might even blend multiple like roles depending on the need, the size of the company, and the product they are working on. And these are the different types of product managers. We have the regular product manager. Can anyone hear me? I see some people saying they can't hear anything. Please, if you can hear me, kindly indicate on the. Great. Someone can hear me,
I can hear you.
right?
I can hear you.
Okay. Edidion, kindly check your network. Every other person can hear me. I would continue, right? Um, so with the product manager role, we hear product manager roles like everything. That even though some companies might interchange it, right, from time to time, but like the product manager is the person who manages the entire product lifecycle and product roadmap. They work with internal stakeholders and external stakeholders. Some of the internal stakeholders they work with are engineers, sales, marketing, customer success, the legal team, the leadership, and board members. Again, depending on the size and scope and the kind of products they are working on, right? External stakeholders, we have customers, end users, and partners. If you're working with external partners or third party, you're integrating with third party systems, you always have to interact with these partners. And some people actually call product managers product owners, but in actual sense, product owners are actually different from product managers, right? I always say this depends on the company you are with or the organization and their structure, right? The supports, like product owners support the development team by prioritizing the backlog items and creating user stories. Where I'm coming from, I do all of the description in product management in product manager. I also do what is the description in product owner. So you see what I mean by depends on the company you are with or the structure of your team, some of these roles can blend in together, right? So the product owner supports development team by prioritizing the backlog items and creating user stories. And they work more mostly with internal stakeholders, that's the developers, the designers, the technical managers, DevOps, product support, and all of those internal people. And another type of product manager we hear a lot of are growth product managers. And these are the people who deliver business outcomes across like growth, customer retention, and revenue, right? They are more so if you find people who are product marketers, they can easily transition into becoming growth product managers, right? Because they are more into like working together with internal stakeholders like business leaders to ensure how do we grow the use of this product, how do we increase customer retention, how do we increase revenue, right? So it's very easy for product marketing people to transition into becoming growth product managers. Another type of product managers we have are technical product managers. These ones, they are mostly people who have like heavy technical backgrounds. Some of them are being former engineers, like engineering heavy QA engineers also, and they are just transitioning into product management. They find themselves more on the technical side and they collaborate very well with the engineering team because they are able to like write the core specification when it comes to the technicalities and product functionalities. Right. So most of the people they interact with are developers, designers, and technical managers. Right. And we have those ones they call the platform product managers. These ones create and optimize technical components shared across multiple products. And one thing I know about platform managers. Mostly people who have like background in like DevOps. They are mostly like they mostly transition into becoming like platform product managers. If you have like a little bit of knowledge on DevOps and all of those side of engineering, this could be an aspect you might want to look at. However, it is very important that it is very important to note that the fact that you're not an engineer or you don't have a marketing background or you don't like have some of these things we've spoken about does not mean you can't become a product manager. I think to thrive in any career, you just have to be willing to learn and be willing to put in the work, and you will thrive. I saw a post of a lady on LinkedIn, I think yesterday, she was talking about how she has no background, like whatsoever. She has never done anything product management or anything tech, right? Or she doesn't have an MBA. You see those pointers people always say, oh, if you're a product manager, they have an MBA. She has none of it, and she was able to use her skill she has gathered in other areas and made it like she communicated so well to show that these skills are transferable, because the actual fact is that whatever skill you've gained in your present career or wherever you're coming from is transferable, as long as you are willing to just draw the map to see how best you can apply it as a product manager. So it is very important that I put that out there so that you are not discouraged that, oh, I don't have a CS background, or I don't have an MBA, or I don't have marketing, so I can be, or I don't have customer support, so I can be a product manager. That's not the case. So yes, this another very interesting aspect of product management, because you get a lot of people calling you a project manager. So people always ask me, that's one question I get a lot of. Blessing, what's the difference between product management and project management? And luckily for me, I have experience doing both, because I'm a trained project manager. I'm also a trained product manager. I've been doing product manager and management for quite some time, right? So we're just going to look at these two, but we're going to start with product management. So product management is actually the process of conceiving, planning, developing, testing, launching, delivering, and withdrawing a product in the market. So you see that with this definition, simply put, product management is the entire life cycle of a product. From when you think about it, then you start scribbling your plans, you do your research, speak to customers, speak to internal stakeholders, you keep scribbling, come up with a rough plan, you develop it, you take it out there to test, you bring back feedback, you just keep going through that whole process till you get a product market fit, you launch, and you are delivering this product to the right users till the point where you withdraw that product from the market, because there are certain products that are withdrawn from the market, right? I think in product management it's called sunsetting. When you hear someone say, oh, that product, we are sunsetting this product, it means they are withdrawing it from the market. It's like it's come to the end of its life cycle, right? So it comes to the end of life cycle of that particular product, right? So that is what product management is. So product management is constantly evolving until there is a withdrawal of that product from the market. And the main goal of product management is just to ensure that the company or the product team is building the right product and building the product right. There are two different things. If you are building, let's take one popular product we all know, Uber or Bolt, right? You want to build Uber to, oh, let's even like I have something in front of me. I have a lip gloss in front of me, right? It's the right product for ensuring that my lips are not chapped and they are not cracked. And as a development team, you think it's the right product, right, for that problem, people who have chapped lips or cracked lips. And you decide to go add chili pepper into the product. You might have built the right product, but are you building it right? Right? So this is what product management is like: building the right product and building the product right. Because if you go and put chili pepper inside the lip gloss or the chapstick, I have a chapstick somewhere around here, and I use it and my whole lips is burning, then you've defeated, like, the whole purpose of building the product has been defeated, even though it is the right product, but it has not been built right. Right. So you can see, and there are different products all around us that we can see that sometimes we realize that, okay, this is the right product, but has it been built right? Right. So, like I was discussing recently, just yesterday, with someone, this ride hailing apps like the Ubers, Bolts. There is one in Ghana. I don't know if we have it in Nigeria or other parts of um the region. It's called Yango, right? The drivers can be so annoying that they'll just pick they'll accept the trips, and they'll just indicate that they've arrived, and they won't come. Like, they won't even show up because Yango shows them the destination. So my point is, why will you accept a ride when you know you won't go to that destination? Right? Yango has built the right product. But now, allowing only drivers who have indicated going to that. I know some apps, like some of this competition, have done that as well. Accepting rides that are going to just your specified location. That should be it, right? They shouldn't have um, the the choice to even get alert for rides that are not going to their specified location, right? So that is one thing I think this ride apps can look at and think through a bit more and do, right? So that is just the main goal of product management, ensuring that whoever, the company, the person, the entity that is building the product, is building the right product and is building the product right. They are two different things, and it is very important that we get to know it as people who want to get into product management. And these are just the 7 steps of the product management process. If you go on my LinkedIn, you will definitely see this. I think it's my header picture on LinkedIn. I like the process so much because it captures all the process we've just spoken about, like gathering and managing ideas, determining the specs by like going out doing research, coming back, iterating, creating a product roadmap. Once you create your product roadmap, then you prioritize. Okay, what should I build first? What should go last? And developing and delivering the product, running analytics and experiments, gathering customer and user feedback, and just keep going through that whole process and cycle. This is the entire product management process. And there are certain tools that aid your work or that makes your life easy as a product manager. And these are what I call the product management tools. And I've categorized them into different areas: product strategy and road mapping. I've never used it, but I follow them a lot. I've seen how their templates work, but I've never used AHA. I always use Google Sheets. I use Google Sheets a lot for my road mapping. So these are some of the tools you can use for road mapping as a product manager. As a beginner, you can definitely use Google Sheets. If your company can pay for some of these tools, all well and good. For project and task management, you can use Jira, you can use Trello. Jira is a great tool. In fact, Jira has incorporated a road mapping tool in it, so I should have even added it to the road mapping as well. But you can also create your roadmaps in Jira as well. Trello is also another great one by creating cards and boards. For product analytics, you can use Mixpanel, Firebase. These are the tools I use for product analytics where I'm coming from. And we also have another tool called Metabase. It's also an analytics tool. For customer research and feedback, you can use Typeform, you can use Google Forms. These are, again, these lists are not this is not an exhaustive list. There are definitely like hundreds of like tools you can use out there. You can even do face to face interviews, phone calls, like whatever works for you. And collaboration and productivity, Slack is number one. I don't think there is any tech team, or even right now, even teams outside, like companies that are not tech companies, they even like you getting to use Slack. So Slack is a great collaboration platform. You get to communicate and collaborate with your team members. And the Google Suite too is a great collaborative and productivity tool. Talk about like the use of the Google Sheets, Google Documents, Google Slides. I made the slides I'm presenting to you with Google Slides, Google Meets. Like, just think about it. Like, Google is just awesome. And for design and wireframing, I use Figma a lot for just wireframing, and that's what we use for our designs. And for user experience testing, let's say if you're doing A/B testing, you can use Hotjar. I've used Hotjar outside for other personal projects. It's a great tool, so you can always also look at other tools that can be useful for you. Or if you join a company, there might be a tool that they've already adopted. You get to learn them, and your stack increases. All right, so now what is project management? I I get to smile a lot when I talk about project management, because going to do an MS in project management, I felt okay, maybe there were some similarities. There actually are some similarities, but they are different. Like, they are very vast, right? And I'm glad I did, because now I can really talk about the difference with so much understanding and knowledge, right? But before we get into project management, what is a project? We can't understand project management if we do not understand what a project is, right? And a project, the keyword here is a temporary endeavor undertaken to come up with a new product or service, right? I don't want to go so deep into projects, else we would spend the whole day here, right? So, but one thing you should know, or one key takeaway you should know about like what a project is that it is temporal. Temporal because it's it's it has a start time and an end, right? And the end is reached when the project specifications are met, or when that project is cancelled, right? So you say that that project has ended, right? And another attribute of a project is that it is unique. So it can be based on, like, the uniqueness can be based on time, location, or an organization, right? So it's always very like unique to a particular like to a particular factor, right? It's always unique. And a project always has a purpose, right? It could be maybe for just like revenue, or just like something. There's always a purpose. Maybe a contract just came, you have to do this and get out of the way. Maybe an audit is coming. There is always a purpose for a project. And a project is progressively elaborated. What I mean by progressively elaborated is that the scope of the project does not change when the details are defined, right? And what this means is that, so in project management, right, before a project is carried out, there is a charter where the full scope of that project is outlined, right? And if, how will I, so the project is, let's say the project is to get married. If the project is to get married, you know that in getting married, you do a civil wedding. If that is already, you do a civil wedding, there's a possibility of doing a civil wedding, an engagement, which is a traditional marriage. If you are also part of the people, a white wedding. right? Once you start breaking it down, it doesn't go outside the scope of getting married, right? That is what progressively elaborated means. It's like you are still within the scope and boundaries of that project, even when the details are being fine tuned, right? That is one very unique thing about a project, the fact that like you don't go outside the scope. Once you start going outside the scope of a project, it is called a creep, right? That's when we say that there's a project creep or something, right? And that can attract, it can throw off the timeline, can throw off like the budget or like the resources that have been assigned for that particular project. But a project is always progressively elaborated. So I want to get married, but the details of that, of me getting married or of my clients getting married, is still within the scope of getting married. So that is what I mean by progressively elaborated. And projects usually have like interrelated activities, right? So that's one thing about a project. And now, project management. Now that we know what a project is, project management is the application of knowledge, skills, tools, and techniques to project activities in order to meet and exceed the needs of stakeholders, right? See, we spoke about like a project, again, getting married. But now the project management is the application of knowledge. We need to get married and we need a photographer. We apply the skill of a photographer. Let's go for who are some of the popular photographers you know. And I need musician. I have to go and, let's say I want Messi Chinwo to come perform at my wedding, right? Like I'm just applying the different knowledge. Oh, Vicky James, her skill and her knowledge is what I need. That's what, like, so you see, all of these knowledge, skills, and tools, like the techniques. How am I going to get the design? Let's say Oriental Hotel has the all the tools I need in their hall. That's where I'm going to go. So you see, that is what makes all of these activities like put together the application of Love of Studio 24. Yes, there is one called Onyema, right? Oh my god, I don't really know the Nigerian vendors. But like when you put all of this together in order to meet your client's specification, like to meet their need, in order to make their wedding day a success so that they are happy, that is what you call project management. And it typically involves identifying the stakeholders requirements. If you say, oh, Hilda Bassi, I need world record food in my event. So Hilda Bassi will do the catering. Vicky James, identifying all the stakeholders and what their requirements are and communicating with your clients. It involves also identifying the stakeholders who have these requirements and needs. So identifying just the stakeholder requirements is different. Though. Now, identifying the stakeholders who have those requirements and can meet that need is another thing in project management. And now, addressing the need, expectations, and demands of your clients is also another thing. And now, balancing competing demand and constraints. You have to think about what are the constraints, what are like, if let's say I'm asking for this and I'm also asking for this, how do you manage all of those? Those are the things that come into play in project management. And interactions are done rather than linear. So what I mean by, you have, let's say, horizontal conversations, right? So you're either talking to a stakeholder or your clients rather than, let's say, like dealing with your own team, right? So that's what like project management involves, as opposed to product management that yeah, going left, right, cross collab, like cross functional and all of it. And this is a project management process. The first phase is always initiation. Like once you initiate the project, you plan, you design it, and once you plan and you design, you go to the executing, like the execution stage. And now, from executing, you monitor and you control the effects of like the project or the work you are doing, you have to always monitor and evaluate and control whatever like outcome that might be coming out from your project, right? So if you realize that once you're monitoring and you realize that, oh, there's something we didn't get right, you go back to the planning and design phase. So you keep going there till you when you are monitoring and you're controlling and you're evaluating, you realize that okay, we've met the specified requirements, we've met everything specified in the project charter has been met, then you close. So it's like it always goes that way. It always goes that way, right? Then you close. That's like the project management process. And now the difference between a product manager versus a project manager. The product manager focuses on outcomes, right? What's the outcome of this product we are pushing? What are users saying? What is it like? How is it looking? What's our analytics to say? What's mixed panel saying this morning? What are our users saying? How are they responding to the product we pushed? How are they responding to the feature we just released? How are they responding to this update we did to the Play Store? These are the focus of a product manager. But the project manager is focuses on the output. Did the wedding come out the way the client specified? Yes or no? That's it. A product manager is concerned about giving continuous value, right? So now I've made a complaint about my lip gloss having chili powder inside, which is hurting my lips, like it's burning my lips. Now they take it into consideration. They do a new formulation. They make sure that they don't add chili pepper. So maybe the chili pepper is supposed to do something, exfoliate or something. They measure the right quantities. So they're always trying to make sure that they're giving me continuous value. The project manager is not like that. Like they don't care. They've already decided what's going to be done. Is it within scope? Is it on time? Are we within budget? Are we like they don't even want to hear anything. Don't give them that. As long as it's not in the charter, as long as it's not within the scope, they are not doing it. That's like a project manager for you. And a product manager is more adaptive in nature as compared to the project manager that is predictive because yes, everything is spelled out for the project manager in their charter. So you know what the expected output should be. But the product manager, they could be working in a different direction and they realize that shoot, we might have missed the nuances in this market. Let's take this turn. And like they easily adapt. Right. So they are very agile. Product managers are very agile in responding to things. And also product managers are ongoing. Like it just keeps going until there is a time where that product has to be sunset, like where they have like that product has to go through a sunsetting phase, right? But that product just keeps going. But for a project manager, he has a finish he has a finish line he wants to get to. He's time bound. He's not even going beyond this time because like he does not have the resources or the money to go beyond that time, right? That's a project manager for you. For the product manager, like the drive, the product manager values the value that they create drives the investments they get. So I can say that you know what, I'm seeing that people are buying this lip gloss a lot. People are liking it. However, we just need to tweak the chili powder. So give me more money so that I'll do a new formulation and we'll try. And management sits down in a strategy meeting and see that, I think we are seeing value in this. Investment just pumps in into that. Like resources are given to make sure that it's but for projects. Whatever investment they make in, they make sure that like the return on investment is already promised. So if they are not meeting that promised return on that particular investment, that project has not been successful, right? So this is the difference between a product manager and a project manager. Thank you very much for your time for listening to all my I don't want to say rant, but I guess for everything I've got to say about like product manager and a project manager, and just generally about product management, I would want to take the questions at this point. So I don't know if Amaka is going to take over from here.
Okay, I'm here. Thank you so much, Blessing. We learned a lot. I think I have one question here. I'll display it on the screen. Can you see it?
Yes, right. So, who is a stakeholder? A stakeholder is anyone who directly or indirectly has an interest or is affected by the work you do, right? So, a stakeholder can be your customers, can be your competition, can be your engineers, designers, can be customer support. As long as the work you do directly or indirectly affects them in a way, they are stakeholders. But stakeholders, we can then now start categorizing stakeholders like internal stakeholders, external stakeholders. More of your external stakeholders are your users, your third party, like your partners, your competition. Like, so, let's say someone who's doing the same thing you're doing, you always want to like have your eyes there to just be like understand the trends that's happening. So those are stakeholders. I hope that is clear.
Okay. So,
Right. An example of a project in related to tech or better understanding. Yes. So let's say a banking solution, right? You're a company or you're an institution, and you're building a banking solution, or a banking application for one of the top banks, right? They give you what they want. They tell you, this is what we want. Not until it's not until recently that banks started employing product managers to have their own in-house engineers, product managers, and keep iterating. Right. In the past, I know that they usually just like employ an agency or a consultancy that they go, they say, oh, this is what we want, this is how we want our application to behave, and that particular company takes those specifications, build that product for them, gives them a quote, right? This is how much it's going to cost you. This is how long it's going to take. Anything you want to do outside this will cost you more. We see that a lot, and we hear that like quite. We used to hear that quite a lot when we were in school. So that is one example of a project that's related to tech, and I hope you will now understand what a project is with this example. Please let me know if it's clear. How does one know an interface is user friendly? Once you go into a platform, right? How do you know it's user friendly? Are you able to carry out the basic thing or the main thing that application promises? Right? If let's say you go into Bolt, you want to order a car, you have to go press. I'm trying to show you an application. You've opened, let's say, this app which is supposed to help you order a car, and you have to go through different steps, look for where to order your or where to enter your. So you have to look and say, okay, how do I order a car? I'm not saying, okay, do I have to go here, do I have to press here, do I have to, oh, what should I do? It's definitely not user friendly, right? Is it easy to use? Does it meet the does it like, are you able to do what the app or that product promises to do without hassle? The need you have that product is promising to solve, are you able to do it without hassle? That's when you say that an interface is user friendly. As once you can go into an app like without anyone even showing you around, you're able to do what you have to do, like back. In fact, like in three simple steps, you say that that interface is user friendly. Please, if I answer your question and you're good, kindly give me a thumbs up, okay, so that I know that I've answered that question. Yes, yes. Like we've had a case like that. We've had a case like that where a particular institution in a different country wanted um, our products. It's not like we are going to be serving them. So it was a project. We had to embark on that project for um, for that particular institution. Even though it's a product we have, like the product we are working on, it became a project for that particular institution, ensuring that it is well set up, all the requirements they have is met. Yes, it is very like there are definitely scenarios where a product manager can play the role of a project manager with the same products. It's very possible. What's the difference between the product strategy done by the product manager and the product marketer, and how do they align their strategy to improve the product process and features? Right. So the product strategy done by the product manager is more on development of the product, right? What do we do? What should we do? Or how do we ensure that we are building the right things? How do we ensure that what we are building is what the users actually want? How do we ensure that we are building it at the right time and we are not building ahead of the market? That's like for the product manager, those are the kind of strategies they do. For the product marketer, the product has been built. Now they have to think about how, now that we know that this product is actually the right product for our users, how do we get it across to them? Now their strategy is more of getting the product that's been built by the product team to the users. Are we going to send it to them? Are we going to send them updates via email? Are we going to send them, if it's a mobile application, do we do in-app notification? Should we call them on phone? Should we send them text messages? So these are the different strategies that a product manager and a product marketer does. And now, in order for them to align their strategies to improve a product process, there definitely have to be that synergy, because the product manager has to also be involved with the product manager. How did you collect the data to know that this is the right product? And they discuss, and the product manager says, hey, from my interaction with them, they prefer you send them messages, text messages or WhatsApp messages between the hours of 2 and 3, like, and they marry their strategies together. And now once you send it to them at that particular time, you get more usage, you get more people landing on your products, signing up, using it, because they've been able to align, right? Even though like the product manager had his own strategy before he was developing his product, like, and the product marketer, he's developing his own strategies in order to reach more users and in order to collect more feedback, like help the product manager collect more feedback. So there's always like they all have their different strategies, but they come together at the points because it's definitely one goal for that product to be successful. So yes, that is the difference. If it's from the customers, then isn't it an overlap on the products, on the role of the product marketer? How do you mean chuku nenye? Okay, I think there was a Amaka, I think there was a question before this. said you mentioned that feedback collection is part of the product manager role in product life cycle. Does the product manager get this feedback from the whole team or directly from the customers? Sometimes it's they get it. Sometimes they get it directly from like the customers. It is always great as a product manager to interact with customers, right? You go out, collect the feedback. Other times, don't forget that we have product support team who are constantly in communication day to day with these users. That let's say, hey, my app has crashed. It is the product support team that will see that message I'll send. Or let's say um, I've cancelled a ride and they've asked me what happened and I've sent that feedback. The support team will get that message and they would relate to the product manager. So the product manager always gets feedback both from the customers directly when they go out there to speak to the customers directly, and they also get feedback from the customer support team because the feedback are always coming. Trust me, you can't meet all of them at the same time. Like the feedback will always come. So there are points where you have to go out to collect the feedback from customers, and when like you have to rely on the product support team to also give you the feedback and what people are also saying by using some areas of the product, right? Then if you say, now I get what you mean by if it's from the customers, then isn't it an overlap on the role of the product marketer? No, it's not an overlap because the 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 product manager is getting like the granular details. Like they need to know, they need to understand like what is happening like on the ground, right? And the product marketer rather he's is rather having a strategy on is rather creating his strategy on how to push the products on how to push the products to the users, right? So he pushes the products to the users. If the users are not like he monitors that okay, the the messages I've put out there or the strategies I put in place to get this product out there, it didn't like yield the results. We are targeting, let's say we have 1,000 customers, and he decided his strategy is to email all 1,000 users, right? And only 10%, which is 100, right, got them like were able to interact with that message and get the updates that he's trying to communicate, right? The it's Then he would get to now see he gets to sit with the product managers to say, hey, or the product managers get to say, hey, I think the strategy of email will not work. Only 10%, we are reaching only 10% of our users because upon speaking to our customers, they said that they'll prefer a WhatsApp message between this time and this time. And the product marketer goes back and said, okay, in order to reach WhatsApp, I can't use the same message I'll use in email. Craft a different, beautiful message, short with emojis, like just make it WhatsApp friendly, right? And pushes it through his communication channel. And now the product manager comes and say, yes, we are hitting it. We are getting the interaction we want. Right. So they all work together. It's a synergy that happens. But as soon as you understand the difference between their different strategies, you know that one is not overlapping on the other. Or there could be an overlap at some points, but it's not like excessive that it will do a harm on someone's job or not. Because as I said, the main goal is to ensure that the product is successful. No, the builders. When you say the builders, you are talking about the masons, right? Those who work at the site carrying the blocks, carrying the cement. No, they are not the project managers. The project managers are those people who employ those builders, right? You see, there are always these people at a site that are carrying this small bag, making calls, I can't see the iron rod. The iron rod was supposed to arrive at this time. Or the ones calling the cement company, those are the project managers because they are coordinating all of the stakeholders. Right now, the builders are part of the stakeholders, the cement company are stakeholders, the iron rod company are stakeholders. So that person that is owning the project to ensuring that all of these people do their work is the project manager. Right. Amaka, if that's all the questions, um, I'll just hand it
All
over to
right. I think that was the last questions we have on the list.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you very much for having me. I've had a great time. I've had a great time just sharing my experiences and the little I know in my product management with all of you. And I'm really glad that these questions are coming up. Gives me the confidence that you've listened and you've taken something out of this class today. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you too. So, all right, guys, I will be dropping Blessing's LinkedIn handle on the Discord server, so you can go ahead and connect with her on LinkedIn. And I think that will be great as well. So that'll be all for today. We'll see you by 8 p.m. What? Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Blessing, once again.
Thank you.
Okay, so have a great day ahead and we'll be in touch.
Right.